Hello, I'm MC Toon, and it's Tuesday night. And tonight, well, I've got a debate later, but right now, I've got a guy that's been making some amazing videos lately. It is Dave McKeegan. Welcome, Dave.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Well, Dave, people have been saying, they just keep messaging me like 10 people, like, have you had this guy on yet? Have you seen this guy's videos? I'm like, I sent him an email. So we set it up. It's
no
finally,
pressure then.
It's finally happened. Dave is here. So they cannot say Dave's not here, man, anymore.
And for everyone, because I know they will be wanting to know, Ross, the dog is here as well.
I'll get mine is down here. Hold on a second. All right. Here is Penguin. Say hi, Penguin. There it is. She's like, what are you doing? I was sleeping. There it is. How you doing, Penguin? There it is. I gave her a little bit too close of a trimming. She's not as fluffy as she used to be, but anyway, so there it is. People, if you're here for the doggos, that part of the show is over. So Dave, tell us a little bit about your channel and what you do there so that they know and kind of the theme of it. And then, yeah, just go ahead.
Well, the theme of it's somewhat changed recently. I was doing photography videos for about the last 4 or 5 years. And then slowly in the last couple of months, the market sort of quietened down and I started shifting into tackling conspiracy theories. Really, it started with the moon landings and then that sort of developed into flat earth, and then Nathan Oakley arrived.
Poor Nathan. He's always looking for somebody to place his anatomy into their mouth, and no takers. I watched I watched of course your new ones. I watched, and then I went back and watched a few of the old ones, and including the one on Gary Fong. He's also a photographer, and Gary Fong had looked at some stuff about the moon landings and the photography there, and was severely wrong on that. And so you addressed that. This was about a 50-minute video, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was quite an extensive one. That took Gary's points, as well as I think that was about 20 minutes to address that. But following that, there was another couple of YouTube channels who'd emailed me, and we'd had some email exchange back and forth. And then they'd made videos about those email exchange, but unsurprisingly, weren't particularly transparent with how they presented it. So it was sort of a collection of debunking about 3 or 4 different people all at once, really. But Gary's was especially brilliant, considering he made such a big point in the start of it about how he's a Hasselblad ambassador and how he knows the cameras so well, and then proceeded to get every point about the moon cameras wrong.
Yeah, so a very good video if you're interested in that. Gary also, I have it. Gary also is a 5G nutter. So he has basically, in order to be a 5G nutter, you have to have basically zero understanding of science. And I have somewhere, I can't find it, sitting here. I have a shungite rock. Gary actually has some shungite, and he's like, this will protect you from 5G. Clearly not understanding even the most basic parts of how photons work. The thing that cameras use to their imaging, he doesn't even know how photons work. Because if shungite somehow blocked the photons that are 5G, it would also block light. It would like suck in light. It looked like everything was bending towards it, but it doesn't. So I don't know how it's supposed to work. It violates the laws of physics, but he wouldn't know them.
No.
So what are there's these 3 guys in the moon landing, the hoaxers, the main hoaxers. What are their names?
What, in the video that In the video that I did.
Like there's this
Oh,
trio of guys. They call
oh,
themselves the Moon. What do they call? They're kind of this cabal. The cabal of Moon hoax.
the prom. Yeah, I can't remember the names, but yeah, the
Inconsequential.
oh god, yeah.
And then there's expat Taffy.
Oh, yes. I did save him till last.
That's where he belongs. Expat Taffy. He demands debates all the time. Tell you what, Expat Taffy, right here. I've tried to debate him, but he blocks me on his channel. So Expat Taffy, if you're watching this, I accept your debate challenge. Email me, mctoon@mctoon.net. We'll get it set up.
No, he won't touch a live stream. It's Zoom or nothing with him.
No. Well, I'll do it on Zoom and live stream it.
Yeah.
Or the other guys, whoever they are.
Same thing. The Apollo detectives, yeah.
That's it. But you call them the Apollo Deceptives.
Yes, with the way they portrayed the emails to carefully, leave out the bits that didn't go too well for them.
Yeah. All right, so you like your main thing is actual photography. Like during the day, you're a photographer.
Yeah. So I'm sort of been freelance for a couple of years. I did it full time. The company I was doing it for went down, so I ended up doing it freelance and doing the YouTube stuff as well. The freelance I still do, but with having kids and everything, it's sort of just everything's sort of all over the place, really. So,
what kind of photography do you typically do?
All sorts, really. I do quite a few weddings and a lot of commercial stuff. So I deal with agencies who basically I leave them to do the legwork of finding shoots, and then I'll just go and do the shoots. It just makes life a bit easier for me, really. And then when I do get time, there'll be often times that I will just go and photograph just for the enjoyment of photographing, really.
Yeah. That's cool. I for a while I did for fun some photography, and then my camera got stolen, so then I had to stop. But now I have this camera right here, but I don't move it. It's tuned in to the settings just for live streams. So I'm like I got it thinking I would use it, but it takes a long time to just get it right again. So. But we do have a proper Canon with SLR, so we just got that for Christmas. So, what do you shoot?
I shoot predominantly Sony. That's the main camera that I use. I've got another Sony that I'm using here for this.
We're seeing through, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's this is a Sony. It's a 6100. So, kit lens. Yeah. Keep thinking I should upgrade. It's not too bad. The background's a little, depth of field is a little bit, but not enough.
You don't want it too much. It starts to look too fake.
When your eye is in focus and your nose is blurred.
Yes. It looks like you're just running a filter.
That's too much. So, all right. So now here's more important, the flat earth debunking videos you've done and the moon hoax one you've done, they are really, really good.
Thank you.
Your scientific acumen is spot on. Like, as a photographer, right, you don't need that background, but you have it. So how did that happen? How do you have that? What's your background that you have?
Kind of crazy in the sense that it's sort of unrelated. Science was always a keen interest of mine in school. Physics in particular, I got on really well with it. I liked the idea of the fact that they could teach you something, they could tell you the concepts of it, but then they do the experiments that proved how it how that it would actually work and verify it. And suddenly now that's actually come in handy nowadays. I could still remember vividly doing the test of dropping things and measuring the times for working out that gravity is actually a constant force and it's not density and buoyancy and everything else. And that always just did intrigue me. I then went on to university, but I ended up doing computing instead. And then, from there, sort of
like software engine stuff.
It was sort of a general computing. I had an interest in computers, but I didn't really have a specific area that was appealing to me. So I just went for a general computer science degree, thinking that will give me a basis for everything. Except just as I graduated was when the first recession hit in the UK, 2016, I think it was. So
okay,
it sort of destroyed the market for employment, and then programming and that everything moved on so fast, I just didn't keep up with it, and kind of just fell into the background really. So I wound up working other jobs, and photography was something that sort of evolved from that really. But the science side of it and thinking scientifically about things is just, I don't know, it's always just the way I've been, I suppose.
Awesome. Well, that certainly explains it. So because I mean, there's a wide variety of people that do what make videos and do stuff or just argue and converse with people on this topic. And I mean, I see on Facebook people are all over the place. Some really get it, and some I'm like, hey, I'll send them a private message. I'm like, hey, that was a little bit off. Here's a little thing.
I do apologize. The dog's off.
The dog's off?
Yeah, he
where'd he go?
My partner's just got home, and so the dog is the front door going, and he's off. So I don't know. He may well return.
See. Oh, we got Joey Roach. Joey Rocha. Oh my goodness. Joey Rocha just showed up in the chat. We haven't seen Joey forever. Joey uses the account Aaron Rocha. That's his wife's account. You can make it, Joey. You can make it your own account. It's okay. He's a flat earther from Hawaii that says that volcanoes don't exist.
What a place to come from and make that claim.
Yeah, he does it for attention. It's okay. So okay. There were a few that said that they wanted, especially in the moon people, they wanted to debate you. But you said you just kind of weren't too interested in that. Is that?
It was especially at the time when they prompted me for it. There was just like my schedule at the time was. I mean, it's still insane now. Like you said, it's 10 p.m. here. I'm just found the time to come onto a live stream with yourself. When they were prompting me back then, it was just it was crazy. We had all the kids and all our activities, which we still have. We had a Ukrainian family refugees who'd come to stay with us. So we were just like everything was swamped, and I'm just like I've got too much to be doing to be entertaining this sort of thing. So, and then following the emails and having seen the emails and the way they misportrayed everything, like I wouldn't do a Zoom call with them anyway, because I wouldn't trust them to present it genuinely either.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't. Somebody mentioned that I got your link to your channel wrong in my description. I fixed it and I put it in the chat, and I'm gonna pin it so people can go subscribe right now. Though I can't imagine any of these people aren't yet subscribed. That would be very wrong. Come on, people. Well, I do love doing debates. In fact, I have one later tonight with somebody that I found on your Nathan Oakley video.
All right.
So in the comments, somebody threw out a challenge. Some flat earther threw out a challenge to do a debate, and I'm like, I accept. So that's who's coming up later. He calls himself the people watching. Or he wants to have me call him King David, which I don't think I'm gonna do.
No.
I don't think he's a king. So, um, now do you plan to keep doing this type of stuff, or is this an interlude? You're gonna go back to photography? Are you gonna go to something else? What's your plans?
To be honest, I haven't really got a plan. My channel's always, even though I stuck to photography, I always maintained that I would do the videos that I enjoyed doing. I would do what I wanted to do. So I wouldn't just make videos for the sake of making videos. And even when it was topics of photography, it would always be I wanted to do stuff that I enjoyed doing. So at the moment, I'm enjoying doing these videos, and they're getting far. They are just generally getting a much better reception from people as well. So that's very encouraging.
Yeah.
So I'm quite happy at the moment with I've got a few more videos at least in mind of stuff to address both flat Earth and moon landings, and then who knows? We'll see where it takes me.
Yeah.
Who knows? I could be on vaccines next.
That's a cesspool. Conspiracy Cats has done an excellent job on, especially with that kind of a crap nurse, whatever.
Oh yeah, I haven't finished watching it. I started watching it before, but yeah, there's just 2020 was such a field day for him. Yeah, I spent a lot of that year and a lot of lockdown in Facebook having arguments with people about all of that, and it just it got very almost quite personal at times for me, because my girlfriend's a doctor. She's a frontline medical registrar, so she deals with that face to face, and then you see these donkeys on Facebook putting all this stuff up and telling people they shouldn't get vaccinated because it's the government trying to kill them, and just like, yeah,
you gotta watch it. YouTube doesn't, their AI doesn't know the difference between people saying their YouTube's preferred position and and refuting the bad claims. So that YouTube AI is terrible on that.
No.
You've got some detractors in here in the live chat. So that's success for reference. The more they hate you, the more you know you're doing the right thing. So, QZorp1 did retract their message. So, okay. So do you have the flat earther camera of choice, the P1000?
No, I was very, very tempted to try and get hold of either a P1000 or a P900 just so I could make a video all about it.
I am borrowing one right now from a flat earther that lives near me.
Careful. If you touch one of those, you become a flat earther.
Do you?
Yeah.
I know. So far, I've made it. I haven't, but I've done a few things already with it that they're not going to like. But there it is. Have you seen it? They're ridiculous.
Yeah, they are quite monstrous.
Just and it's poorly balanced. So there's the mount point. So I got this mount point, or this bar that goes all the way to the front, and then I can have it mount in the middle there so that it's it doesn't tip forward when you extend the lens. But we've got Pseudiko says it's not the size, it's how you use it. Sure. You can maybe get censored for that. The nice thing about it is it auto blurs when you have autofocus on, especially if you have a black background. It gets really confused.
Yeah, they're a great piece of kit for confusing people further.
The zoom, it does zoom a lot. But the
Yeah.
quality at full zoom, it starts to get the chromatic aberration is kind of bad.
Yeah, I think that's the sort of the problem with cameras like that is you see the kind of zoom figures on it, and it's, you know, if you're not familiar with cameras, you don't understand all of it. You just see the big numbers and you think, wow, you know, this is going to be amazing. But you kind of overlook the fact that the sensor in it's a tiny little thing, and yeah, it's there's definitely limitations when you're, you know, trying to use it to prove the shape of the globe.
Um, yeah, and so when I'm going to be in Florida, and that's part of the reason why I'm borrowing it now. So in Minnesota, there's Lake Superior, but
Mm,
it's about as far as you can be from the ocean in the United States
right.
is
Yeah.
is Minnesota. So, but we'll be in Florida. So I plan to do a little bit down there. Also, at this time of year in Minnesota, it's always overcast. So like I can't even, I look at the 10-day forecast, overcast every day. So I'm like, I can't even, zoom in on the blurry stars.
No.
So, but I do, there's a thing to put, I forgot the name of it, but a thing to put over the end so it can focus.
Oh, for on the stars.
Yeah.
Oh,
I found
Banatov mask.
that's the
Is it?
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. So I
I don't
found
remember how you
one.
pronounce it, but
Yeah, it's Russian, so
yeah.
I'm sure it's perfect. There it is. Yeah, I found.
Yeah, I've actually I've got one downstairs, slightly broken, but they're amazing in when you actually then use one, it sort of just makes it apparent how much the stars are away, like kind of the distances for the stars away from each other.
Yeah,
So yeah, they're an absolute pain to try and get the focus nailed, but they work really well when once you get it right.
yeah. Well, anyway, so I'll try that, and then we'll be in Pensacola. So I'm gonna try to go across the water, see if I can. I'll test here. I did have I ordered the Rob Skiba kit, which you may not know about. It's this thing where they lie about the way that refraction goes, but I'll save that for later. But this reminds me, I got something in the mail this week from us. What? Hold on, right here. This note here from Scruffy71. That's this. So Scruffy71 sent me this tab van, and I have autofocus turned off on that, so it's not going to be in focus. And even more impressive, this tab truck and race car. So that'll go up on the shelf. But Scruffy71, thank you for that. I'll maybe get some pictures that are closer up of it and send it. So tab is an inside joke from when I debated red pill philosophy, and this guy Red Pill, he always talked about doing high IQ research with his tabs that were open. So I have, when I drink, when I debated him, I had a whole bunch of cans of tab, and now I just drink them during the show. So thank you for that, Scruffy71. I appreciate that. Okay. Let's see. I saw one question. If people have questions for you, you could tag me. Just tag me. You don't need to do a super chat or anything. Tim Tully says Dr. Bob has a great series on the anti-V people. Yes, Dr. Bob did, and he did some with Debunk the Funk. I love him. He's awesome. Really good stuff from them. So if you're interested, anybody, in some background information on the anti-V topic, Dr. Bob is that, and Debunk the Funk are the places to go for those. So, all right. Ask Dave what flavor crisps goes best on a sandwich, and why is it salt and vinegar, says Waikikamu Cow.
Well, as long as salt and vinegar tastes like roast beef, I completely agree with you.
Wait. Roast beef flavored crisps?
That is a thing over here.
It is?
Oh yeah.
And for Americans, a crisp is a chip, a potato chip. And you call French fries chips. So so there it is. Apparently it has to be salt and vinegar. Let's see. All right, we got Astronomy Live. Astronomy Live is I've met in person in Florida. I gotta add this here. It says, does Dave think he might do anything in terms of refuting Artemis deniers once that program starts putting people around the moon again?
I imagine if I'm still doing these types of videos, once 2 and 3 go, then probably yeah. I think I've already had a few people trying to argue the toss about Artemis 1 already. So
yeah, there were a few photography based misinterpretations of things. I know one was that there was one part where the exposure was set so that the everything was blown out. It was the Earth was just this big glare, and then I don't know if it was the next frame or if it was in the couple frames in between, the exposure was set correctly. And you could see the Earth properly exposed, and you didn't see the craft at all because the exposure was brought way down.
Yeah.
And it wasn't video. They weren't sending video. It was actually just, I mean, what's the difference between video and a series of photographs?
Not a lot.
Not much. That's what video is. But yeah, and I think there was a good amount of actual clock time between them so that it could, so the exposure was modified between. So.
Yeah, I think you're going to get that as the camera moves around. They'll try and correct the exposures. It might be on automatic to try and pick out the best bit. It depends on what's the most prominent thing in the frame. I don't know entirely as to what systems, what settings they've got going on, but yeah, you see it all the time in cameras. Like you point your camera around and it'll wildly just start changing the exposure if that's the way you've got it. So
yeah, and with a primarily black background, not only is focus a problem, but exposure is a problem.
Yeah, a lot of the cameras, like when I use my camera, I tend to tell it to meter off the sort of center third of the image. So if I've got like a really bright object in the corner, it'll kind of ignore it, and then once it comes into the middle, it then adjusts the settings.
Yeah.
For that.
Do you ever use AE lock?
No, not personally. I tend to just stick to manual. I know there's a lot of photographers do, especially if you're doing very fast action stuff, or if you're shooting stuff that's moving between bright lighting and shadows, then sometimes it can help to be in a sort of semi-automatic mode and let the camera do some of the legwork for you. But I tend to just stick with manual.
Said it to me.
Personally, right. So.
All right, here's a proper photography question. Lael says, what's the difference between a 30 megapixel camera on a phone and a professional 30 megapixel camera?
The size of the pixels would be the main benefit. So the best way to describe it, really, the number of pixels is sort of relative to how big the image is that you're going to get, but the size of the pixels is going to determine how much light the sensor is able to get overall. And sensors being electronic components, you get a lot of background interference as well. So the more light that you can get for the same amount of background noise just gives you a better signal to noise ratio and a cleaner image. So that's one of the big factors you see between sort of, I think that's a 64 meg camera on the back of that, and that's only a 24, but they're just sort of night and day. So
yeah,
resolution's just a sort of sales gimmick more than anything else these days.
Yeah, over a certain amount,
you can't see it. I think that's the Sony A7 series of camera. That's the middle one at 24 megapixels. You do one that's at 12 and one that's at I think it's like 40 odd or 60 odd nowadays. They do a sort of a low, a medium, and a high resolution. And there's people who've done prints between the 12 megapixel and a 64 megapixel of those cameras. You can't really tell the difference unless you're going like billboard size.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's more about the lens, which
yeah,
you can't get. There's physical limitations. There's only so much trickery you can do with something this small compared to even something this big, right? Good luck getting an aperture that big, right? On a phone. So we've got
careful with the showing off the size of your aperture there.
I know. That family show here
makes people some jealous.
I know. This is for my old camera that was stolen. It's just a manual. Actually, I've even got a mount on it for what is it, for my kid's camera, I think. So there's the actual lens that goes on a Pentax. It's a 50 prime lens. Somebody says we got Matt's Johnson says, "Tune, stop flailing. The normal us people that won the war is wanting to go back to Mother England. I'm Swedish, by the way, so if you want to upgrade." I don't know. The Revolutionary War? I don't know what war he's talking about. So people are wondering if there's a debate today. There will be at later tonight. So, all right. What video are you working on right now? Can you give us?
Not actually got one at the moment. The video about the equatorial mount I'd finished up the other day, and I've not actually had time between other bits of work that I've got going on. I've not had the time to sit down and start the next one yet. I'm thinking the next one might go towards looking at some of the Apollo arguments instead.
Yeah.
I've done a couple of flat Earth. I might shift slightly towards some of the Apollo arguments, which relates to flat Earth in the sense that, you know, if you prove the moon landings happen, then the blue marble kind of puts a nail in the coffin for the flat Earth.
Here's what's weird. Not all of them. The guy that I'm borrowing that camera from, he thinks that we went to the moon, and he thinks that the Earth is flat.
Okay.
Now,
way to sit on the fence.
He thinks that NASA, they're on the level, and that things actually go up into space and orbit. How they orbit, he doesn't have an answer for it. But the thing that's very strange, there are flat earthers that say that the moon is in the clouds. If the moon's in the clouds, you could have just a consumer level drone go land on it.
I've seen people argue that the sun is in the clouds, and I think I've never, any commercial flight I've been on at 35,000 feet, you're above the clouds. I've never seen anyone fly over the sun.
They claim it all the time, though. If you're ever on the cesspool book, Facebook, if you're ever there and you go in the Flerf groups, they post the same stupid picture all the time, as if nobody ever thought that one should be posted on Facebook before. Of the clouds, this plane with clouds, and you can see the glow of the sun from underneath the clouds. They're like, the sun is under the clouds. Like, how low would the sun have to be? You think nobody noticed? Oh, look. There's the sun, and then above it is the clouds. I don't know. Don't know.
There are special breeds. Some of them you've got to seriously try and wrap my head around how they could think what they think. That's why I can never do a Discord server debate like you and FTFE do, because I sit and I listen to them. Like, people come out with some statements, and I genuinely have to sort of just stop and take stock and try and deconstruct what they're trying to get at with it.
When I listen to debates or watch debates, I'm the same. Like, I'm in them, and it's way different when I'm in it. When I'm watching it and it's Craig or somebody else, I'm like, wait a second, that's craziness. Yeah. So,
oh, no pressure. No pressure. It's all right. I have a side act somewhere that could come and entertain. Rust, come on. Hey, come up here. Hey, come and see the people. And I see the comment from Sarah. No, I've not had any news about the Facebook ban. I can't say as I've really been that bothered, to be honest, about getting it back now. I think life's a lot better when you're on the outside of it, to be honest. But yeah, should I just step aside and I'll leave you to do it? Trying to work my way back through here. Anyone, any other questions? Or is everyone just more focused on the dog at the moment? A few people have asked, are you a sort of a mix between a cocker and a Springer Spaniel? He's like 97% one of them, and I can't remember which. I should really know, shouldn't I? But I don't. I'm sure someone will be able to tell me there's a difference between cocker and Springer, and I can't remember, but yeah, he's predominantly one of them. Dog's way smarter than an average Flerf. Yeah, I'd probably go with that, to be fair. Very good. Gary said there's no way an equatorial mount can work because it doesn't have a 15 degree per hour drift. Well, Bob would disagree with him on that point. I think Toon's just abandoned us, you guys. He calls me on for a chat and then leaves. All right, you're taking over now, mate. Come on. Okay, that's enough now. You're gonna hop back down for me. All right. Oh, just in time.
All right, so my one of my kids had a mark, and now it's gotten worse. Like, that got worse fast. So he's not home, but when he's back, we'll
priorities.
Absolutely. So if I'm like, hey, gotta go, you'll know why.
Yes.
So Sarah Jones asks, did Dave have any news on his Facebook ban?
Yes, I did. I did try and mention that. No, I've not. I got banned. I think my account got hacked. So I did a video about it, and then afterwards I got a notification. PayPal. There was a payment taken from PayPal it was going to Facebook's advertisements. So I think whoever had got into the account presumably used my details to buy some advertisements and got the account blocked. I got the money back from it, so I've not lost out, apart from I've lost the Facebook account. But yeah, I can't say I particularly miss it.
There's good and bad. I mean, if you need to see cat pictures or find out that your grandparents or aunts and uncles have had a life change event, then yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fortunate in that I know, there's enough people I know who I'm friends with, that like family know as well. So if there's anything major happens, I still find out about it. But
Yeah.
Most of the time I was arguing about flat Earth anyways.
So no, not that guy says it's probably a tumor. And I can answer, it's not a tumor. And somebody blocked them. One of my mods blocked the message, not knowing that that's a reference to Kindergarten Cop, the movie. But anyway, so apparently the dog took over my spot while I was gone.
I had to call in reinforcements.
That's I don't blame you. Probably just fine with that. Lael wonders, can you explain how refraction affects pictures that you have taken as a professional photographer?
Well, I mean, refraction is the basis of the lenses working in the first place, so that has a big bearing on taking pictures. You definitely do see around sunrise, sunset, when the sun's quite low in the sky, you can see sometimes the way the horizon will distort, and objects near the horizon distort as well. So it's not normally a problem. It doesn't affect your day to day that much, but there are times where it does change things. Like somebody mentioned in the comments to the last video I did with the equatorial mount, somebody mentioned about, I think it was Wolfie and Science Bob, is it? Had addressed it in the past, where the stars sort of slow down at the horizon. And so the tracking becomes sort of inaccurate. The equatorial mounts don't become as accurate when the objects are right on the horizon. So
yeah,
for the most part, it doesn't have a huge effect. But yeah, there are times where it can. But for the most part, not really.
Yeah, there's a name for the modification that you put on an equatorial mount to deal with the horizon refraction. This compression that you get on the horizon.
Yeah. There's I can't remember what it is, but I've seen it somewhere.
We've got heat. So heat shield had a pupper, a doggo, and it is an ex dog, and has a bunch of stuff. So he was giving some dog stuff away. So on my Discord server, which if you use the link in the chat here, or sorry, the description, the non-expiring Discord server link expires. So you'll have to message me through some other mechanism to get a link to the Discord server. But he had posted on there some stuff about the things that he had from dogs that he was giving away. So I think he maybe is offering some stuff to you. So there you go. But
I shall ask the dog later on.
Let's see. The Kitsune Cavalier says, other than to let in more light or creating bokeh or a similar effect, is there any reason to reduce the f-stop number?
Sorry, what was the... Could you just repeat that again?
Other than more light, creating bokeh or similar effect, is there a reason to reduce the f-stop number?
Yes. The lenses will generally, the image will generally get sharper, particularly towards the corners as you stop the lens down. Part of it will be the depth of field coming into play, but the camera lenses, when
stop the depth down for people. So
yeah,
this you can see. Let me see if I can. There you go. This is all the way open, and I'm going to stop it down to that, right? Tiny.
Yeah, so you tend to find the sort of as a general rule, sort of 2 or 3 stops below the maximum aperture for a lot of sort of DSLR lenses will produce a generally sharper image across the frame, across the entire frame. Than wide open, or just because the lenses don't work best at their extremes normally. Shortest focal length, longest focal length, widest aperture, narrowest aperture tends to be where you things start to curve off. Things are generally best somewhere around the middle, but each lens does vary. If you stop down too much and you get the really narrow aperture, then you start to get diffraction, which is where the light will start to then bleed back out, sort of diffuse again, and things start to go quite soft. So it varies from camera to camera. The best thing to do is take some test shots at different settings and get the images on the computer and see what settings work best for your particular camera. But yeah, there are sharpness does generally improve as you stop down as well.
Yeah. All right. Excellent. Woodwork Learner says, ask Dave if his camera or telescope has the inbuilt NASA CGI chip.
Yes, it does.
Have you heard that one?
I can take an educated guess as to what it is.
Yep, they really say that telescopes have a chip in it, a computer chip in it, so that when you point it at the some nebula, that it'll give you the actual CGI image. That's what they actually have claimed.
You know, it's. I mean, I've photographed Andromeda and Orion's Nebula before, and with my cameras, I don't remember seeing the advertisement saying the NASA chip. Maybe they snuck it in without advertising it.
It's amazing how it knows what angle you're pointing the camera so accurately, especially if the lens that you buy is, you know, way before GPS.
Oh yeah,
how it works.
Yeah, like how NASA managed to Photoshop the Apollo photos a decade before Photoshop came out.
It's amazing. Well, I love when they're like, well, they didn't tell you about all the technology. Their technology is way ahead, and they just don't. They keep it a secret.
I had someone comment that the other day. I was like, hang on, let me just break this down here. You're saying that NASA faked the moon landings by having more advanced technology than they made out. But they didn't have the technology to be able to get there.
The number of things that they would have had to invent ahead of time.
Yeah.
Instead of just going there is amazing. But Kubrick was such a perfectionist that he insisted on doing it on site.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. So, all right, layout. Let's see. All right, first we've got Valkyrie Vision sent a super sticker that's got some looks like some snow-covered pine trees, which is what I have outside right now. Everything is still frosted, actually. So, all right, now Lael says, I this is good. It says, can you explain smooching of angles to the vanishing point to that the appeared to disappear bottom to top?
With this, I'm assuming this is in reference to the flat earther suggestions. That everything appears to go bottom to top because of just the limitations of our vision. Nothing to do with the Earth curvature at all.
Somehow, yes.
Yeah. I am actually going to do a video to put that to the test with I'm contemplating taking the telescope to the beach. Might get some funny looks, but
oh yeah. Can you so they claim things get obstructed bottom up, and then you can zoom in with a telescope and see it.
Yes.
So just go get a telescope. So I suppose you could have your camera sitting there on a tripod and your telescope sitting there on a tripod
next to it.
Yeah, watch something go bottom up and then go to the telescope, and it'll definitely come back, right?
Yeah, it should do, but we'll see. I'll put it to the test. You never know. They might surprise us.
You never. How far are you from the water?
I'm about, well, to open sea, probably about a half an hour drive. So not too far.
20 hours for me. 20 hours.
That's one advantage to the UK.
Yeah, you can't get very far.
No, you're never 20 hours from anywhere unless you're walking.
Or it's heavy traffic.
Yeah.
I mean, rumor is you could have a 20-hour drive just in London. So do people know? Do you say where you live in general, or is it? I mean, I suppose we could play the My Fair Lady game and figure from your accent.
Sorry, what was? I was got this.
Where in all of Britannia that you live?
So I'm sort of round in the northwest. So sort of Liverpool area.
Okay, so, not northeast.
No, not northeast.
You don't have the Geordie accent.
No.
That one of the 5G nutters, that like the main one in England. Do you know who he is?
Not off the top of my head.
Mark Steele. He's from not from Newcastle, the one south.
Sunderland?
Nah, he's the one in between Newcastle and Sunderland. Why am I forgetting it? Newcastle's the north side of the river, and right side. Holy crap!
I don't know.
I totally
I'm closer
forgot.
than you, and I can't even think.
Yeah. He's the very, very expert. He calls himself. Dang it, Gateshead. Thank you, thank you, Cretan Bull, Gateshead. And yeah, he's as smart as Toe Jam. And declares that he's a very, very expert in 5G. So, Sarah Jones says hi from Widnes.
Oh yeah.
No, did I say that right?
Yeah, Widnes. That's not too far from. That's not too far from where I am.
Whatever that is. All right, I haven't heard of that one. Let's see. Has Dave started to collect space comma comments?
Space what?
So if you get dumb comments that were the punctuation, the grammar, just the phrasing, and especially if the punctuation is word, space, comma, word, then you take a screenshot of that, put it into a folder for later.
I think I've still got it somewhere. I had a folder of screenshots of expat Taffy that pretty much met that entire criteria. Like he doesn't know how to comment without capitalizing everything.
And his caps lock key is broke.
Oh, I pulled him up on that. It was brilliant, and he claimed it was because he was using his iPad. He dug himself. Oh no, he gets better because he dug himself into a beautiful ditch because everything was just caps lock, and I wasn't arsey with it. I was just like, you can turn the caps lock off, When he said it's because I'm using the iPad, and I was like, oh right, okay. And then I made some other comment. Oh, your caps lock's magically fixed yet? And he made some comment saying, "Don't pick on an old timer like me. I've got bad eyesight." This is the guy who meticulously picks apart photographs at a pixel level is now saying that he can't see properly.
Oh, that's awesome. Professor Phil Bell and Gary Wybenga are going to have a debate, apparently. I'm going to host it. I'm happy to. Gary, Professor Phil, I look forward to it. Let's see here. I think somebody's trying to do a little bit of a Flerf grammar here. The Rocket Couch says, I would also like to know how the they does a do when refraction is under top of the equatorial mountain, but below every only occasionally sometimes.
Yeah, 3. Absolutely.
That's it. PhD Tony is a big fan. He says, David produces excellent graphical debunks, but should avoid addressing anything at Oakley. Oakley's business model is based around having something/someone to shout at. We need to starve him.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, like we were discussing before the stream started, he's gone a slightly different approach since I put that video up.
Well, his Oakley's approach lately is not to put out any videos, which is a great thing, I think.
Well, yeah. So best result for humanity, I think that
it is. But he did mention that it was something about a computer that needed to be fixed. So maybe the computer committed suicide, as any computer. You couldn't blame the computer.
Has someone paid the computer off to silence him? Is it NASA? Has NASA got hacked his computer?
Seriously, if the nameless, faceless they existed, can you imagine how easy it would for these people to have their everything wiped out? Because they're not the bright ones.
No.
Right? Expat Taffy is not bright. If they wanted to do anything, they would just send him an email pretending to be a Nigerian prince, asking him politely for his password, because he has just one password, no doubt.
It will be 4 zeros.
The same one password for all of his sites, no doubt. It'd be easy. Yeah, the Flat Earth debate never has had a single debate. So anyway, yeah, it is best. So he Slappy the Clown, he has to debate Chat GPT and lose now. That's where he's at. All right, people are having some fun with.
Give him credit. He's pulling in 400 a month on Patreon alone. He's got to come up with something.
Is he?
I mean, look, there's something like that. Yeah, I think he's close to 400, and that's just Patreon. And then he's got memberships. He charges for memberships and the super chats as well. So yeah, I can't work out. Part of me thinks he is just like that deluded and genuinely believes what he's saying. And part of me thinks, I know he used to be a sales rep. He used to do sales. And I think is he just playing a brilliant business model in terms of just cheating people out of money?
Would you put your kids online if you were just cheating people out of money?
I've not seen enough of a few people. I mean, maybe you can explain it to me, because a few people have mentioned about him and his kids and I don't know, hitting them or something. And I've not seen it. I don't know. I've not watched much of his. I mean, it gives me a headache just watching the one video he made about me. So
yeah. Well, so there was a few years ago. He I'll give my take on it. He got angry at his kid and slapped her because she was touching his iPad, and that's my take on it. And other people have their own opinions. So yeah, but it's not just that. Like, he puts his children on video. So if it was just for fake, think that they're going to, at some point in the future, be the children of the guy that did that. So yes. would he put them on video knowing that in the future they're going to be the children of the guy that does these things?
I mean, you would
if he wasn't serious.
But
and that's there's pose. There's definitely people that are fake. But even actors aren't perfect actors. Right? You watch the blooper reels from any movie. These professional actors, they slip up. They make mistakes. They crack character. Yeah. These people, a lot of them, they don't. How perfect can you be?
I don't know. I mean, he's always seems to be, for the most part, he keeps himself, like, he doesn't show himself on screen, so you don't know kind of what he's doing. And let's face it, he just says the same 5 things on repeat constantly anyway.
That's true.
He's probably not even actually talking in the microphone. He's probably just got one of them soundboards of himself, and he just pushes the button, and it just says, "You need an R value for that."
That would do it. But see, then there's this guy on Facebook. I'm not even going to say his name. Put his 8-year-old daughter up to doing a flat Earth presentation and put her on YouTube.
Yeah, and they say that we're brainwashing people.
And it's not even like real, like good flat Earth stuff, right? It's not even correct for flat Earth. It's just low quality flat Earth garbage. I don't know. That really bothered me, because she's at some point in the future she's gonna have to be. That's her.
Yeah.
Right. And in 10 years, when she's 18, she's gonna be like, oh, my dad made me do that. I don't want to be that person.
No. But then that kind of requires a parent to think of the world beyond the end of their nose, which.
No, not Kyle Adams. It was a guy that I haven't seen before yesterday or the day before, whenever he did it. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, Nathan. Here's how low this guy is. Nathan Thompson is a flat earther that has been kicked out of the flat earth in circles because he stole money from other flat earthers. So he's, he burned all his bridges, all of his flat earth bridges. This guy hangs out with Nathan Thompson.
Yep. That's a character reference.
So there you go. The flat earther that nobody else will hang out with, he hangs out with. So, oh yeah. So Leo the All Channel says, if we're talking about kids, I feel so sorry about the new kid Witsit got. He's going to be so bullied in school. It's a she, and Witsit has talked about creating homeschool curriculum. We homeschool. We've homeschooled all our kids. We give them a choice. We talk every year. We're like, hey, do you want to? And they're like, no, we want to keep homeschooling. He wants to make homeschool curriculum. And of course, you know what it will be. It will be all this anti-science crap. So Leo the All Channel, you're wrong in that she won't be bullied in school. But even sadder, this kid will get the worst education on the globe. So I don't know. That really makes me sad. And so my wife is in some flat earth, or not flat earth, no, some homeschool, how to do homeschooling, like, groups and stuff like that. She's like, yeah, flat earth is way too big in those groups. So it's it's a problem because it's gonna be the self-propagating thing eventually. So anyway, Professor Phil Bell says Oakley is selling a product to silly people, gullible enough to buy it. He knows it's not true, but it doesn't matter if it's true or not. But Phil Bell, is he selling? See, if he was just selling this product, would he put his children in the product that he's selling? That's the part that gets me. So I don't know. Many Karen says, Witsit school, repeat after me, traveling. Yes, Witsit is also toying with being a Sov Sit, First Amendment auditor type person. So, Dave, you have First Amendment auditors over there. Do you know that a First Amendment auditor is a person in the United States that talks about the First Amendment to the United States and freedom of speech? In England, there are First Amendment auditors.
I can't say as I did know that, to be honest, or at least
they don't know that the First Amendment doesn't apply outside the United States.
Well, that's I was thinking, well, why would we need one? But okay.
They don't know.
Oh,
it doesn't even exist there.
Oh, well, but they make jobs for the sake of anything these days.
They're in Australia. They're in Canada. Somehow they think that our laws can apply elsewhere. But anyway, Witsit, by the way, Witsit. Somebody commented on my Witsit video. That trying to actually support Witsit, talking about experiments, the list of experiments that didn't successfully measure linear velocity of the Earth in orbit, and he missed. Witsit always misses the terrestrial experiment part. And there's a specific. Anyway, I asked the guy for the list of experiments, and I'm anxiously awaiting him. I'll pin that comment, people. You can go find it. So anyway, let's see. I'm gonna see if there's any other questions here. Let's see. Oh yeah. Steve Wilson says Schrodinger's cat did a video on one here in my hometown in Canada too. So funny. All right. That's that. All right. So yes. All right. So Professor Phil Bell, Gary, you have an agreement. I look forward to that. Gary, send that email. Lael says, come on, MC, be fair. Witsit has never misquoted or misrepresented Einstein. No, never. Now you made me say that. They're going to clip it. Witsit has constantly misinterpreted, misapplied, misunderstood Einstein. So, all right. Well, I probably am going to have a look at my kid here, and it's getting to be 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in your part of the globe.
Yeah, so on my side of the ball.
So anyway, Dave, it's been great. As long as you want to keep doing flat Earth debunking videos, I look forward to it. You do great ones. Your moon stuff was fantastic, and as a photography enthusiast, I like your photography stuff too. So I hope that it keeps going, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions ever.
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much for inviting me along. It's been great. This is the first proper live stream I've done with someone, so it's yeah.
All right, now
I really enjoyed it.
Here's the tip. After we say goodbye to the audience, don't close the Zoom call, because we can have a little quick after. People that have, it happens all the time, and when it's a Flerf, I don't mind. But all right, anything you want to say as we head out?
Just really thank you to everyone who for the comments in the chat today, the comments in my videos, the support. It's been really encouraging to know that people are actually enjoying my videos. I don't really know. I kind of get a bit overwhelmed sometimes that people find them so helpful when I'm mostly critical of my own work. So yeah, it's thank you everyone for the support. I know most people only come to see the dog, and I'll be keeping him around.
Yeah, it's in good taste. The dog certainly is the star.
I'm there to just fill in the gaps.
Dave, thank you for coming on. The link to his channel is in the description. Please pop over there and have a look, everybody. If you're watching this in the future, we'll see you then.
Thank you, everyone.